Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Before we get started with today's yoga class, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss a weekly yoga class. For today's flow, we're going to be working mobility, we'll be working some strength, some core work, some balancing. So it'll be a little bit of a challenging flow, but also a fun flow. For one pose at the end, if you have a block, I recommend having it nearby, but it's not necessary. I'll walk you through the pose without a block as well. If you do have that block, just so we're ready for the end of class, you can just keep it off towards the right side of the mat, and then we'll grab it when we need it. Otherwise, we're gonna get started in a child's pose, so I'll meet you there when you're ready. Let's take a wide-legged child's pose. So you'll bring your toes together and your knees out as wide as you comfortably can. So they don't have to go to the edges of the mat, but if they can, that's great. And then just reach your arms forward, sinking your hips back to your heels. And we're just breathing here, grounding down, preparing to move our bodies and breathe. And know that this child's pose that you're in right now is somewhere you can always come throughout class, whether I cue it or not. As you begin to settle in here, let your breath even out. Your inhales and exhales almost even in length. Focusing on filling up with every inhale and letting go with every exhale. We'll just take 3 more breaths here. And final breath, we'll gently make our way up to a tabletop position, stacking our wrists underneath our shoulders, bringing our knees in slightly closer together so they're right underneath our hips, and we'll find 3 rounds of cat-cow. On the inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, and on the exhale, tucking the chin, rounding through the spine. 2 more times, inhale, drop, lift the tailbone and the gaze. Exhale, tuck the chin, round through the spine. Last round here, move with your breath, maybe even a little bit slower than your breath, feeling this movement in the spine and all the muscles around it. And then once you're back in your neutral tabletop position, go ahead and step the right foot back, almost like you're moving into a high plank, but we're not. We're just stepping the right foot back. And I'm just going to start to take some rocks forward and back, bringing my shoulders forward past my wrists to stretch them out, and then pressing my heel back to stretch out my right calf, maybe taking some pulses. So this can be a nice large movement if you want to pause somewhere, and again, just pulse or take smaller movements, feel free. Just a couple more here, just moving with your breath. And then when you're ready, we're gonna lift that right foot up off the ground, cross it over the left foot, and we're gonna walk our hands past the left edge of the mat. So pressing down into the hands, pulling the left hip back. This is a little bit of an awkward pose. We're kind of making like a banana shape here. And you'll feel this in your right side body and also in your left lower back. Just feel that nice, gentle stretch. One more breath here. And then bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, coming back to neutral, lifting the right leg and stepping the right foot in between the hands for a low lunge. So I'm gonna step my left foot back just a couple inches, creating a little bit more space for me to just sink down into the right hip here. And just stay here for now. Focus on that stretch in the left hip flexor and the right hip. We'll just be here for 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, we'll take this into a half split. So I'm gonna tuck my toes again, lift my knee, take it back a couple inches even further, untuck my toes, and straighten my right leg. Just creating that space that you might need to take this half split stretch. This is a deep hamstring stretch and it's early in class, so feel free to keep a nice bend in the knee. Feel free to stay more upright or fold over the right leg. Keep flexing the right toes towards the face. Again, we're just gonna take 2 more breaths here, not here for long, just preparing for our movement. Final breath. Stay for your inhale and your exhale. And when you're ready, walk the hands forward, bend back into the right knee, tuck the left toes, and we're just gonna step right back to a downward facing dog. First downward facing dog of class, so take a moment to settle in, spreading the fingertips wide, pressing into the pads of the fingers. Maybe pedaling through the knees, bending one at a time as the other heel reaches down to the ground. And eventually, as you settle into stillness, both heels will reach down to the ground. Even if they don't touch, keep reaching them in the direction of your mat, feeling that lengthening in the back of the legs. And keep lifting your tailbone even higher up to the sky. Stay here for 2. Last one. And then drop the knees, come back to your tabletop position. 3 more rounds of cat-cow. On the inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck the chin, round through the spine. That's 1 round, take 2 more. Once you've taken your 3 rounds and you're back in your neutral tabletop position, step that left foot back like you're moving into that plank position and start with those large range movements forward and back. Now, if you feel like you want to stay in a certain position for a couple extra breaths, maybe your wrists need a little bit more love, maybe your left calf needs a little bit more love, and you just kind of pulse it back. Do whatever feels good here, just for the next 2 breaths. And then coming back to neutral, lifting the left leg, stepping it over to the outside of the right foot, walking the hands past the right edge of the mat, pressing hands down, pulling left hip back. And again, we're taking this side body stretch in the left side and a little bit of an opening in the right lower back. Just 1 more breath here. And then walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, coming to neutral. Lift the left leg up and step the left foot in between the hands. Again, I'm gonna lift that right knee and take it back just a couple more inches, giving myself some space to really sink down into my lunge here. Breathing into my left hip and my right hip flexor on the top of that thigh. My chest is nice and proud. My fingertips are on the ground. And then from here, we'll move into that half split. So again, I'm gonna lift the knee, take it back even a couple more inches before I straighten my left leg. And you can stay upright or you can gently fold over the left leg. Keep a nice generous bend in that left knee. Flex the left toes towards the face. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. And then as you're ready, walk the hands forward, bend back into the left knee, tucking the right toes, and stepping right back to your downward facing dog. And from your downward facing dog, let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Take a big inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Again, inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Last one, inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. And when you're ready, bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, and walk your feet all the way up to the hands, coming into a quick ragdoll, bending knees generously, grabbing opposite elbows, and just letting the body sway side to side, tucking the chin to the chest, taking this moment to release any tension. And now your palms, or your fingers rather, will graze the floor. Bend the knees even more deeply. Tuck the chin to the chest and slowly roll up to standing, 1 vertebrae at a time, meeting in your mountain pose. We're going to find 1 sun salutation just to start building some heat in the body. Take a big breath in, reach the fingertips up to the sky, and on your exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Again, knees can be bent. Inhale, lengthen the spine, fingertips to the mat or to the shins. And then exhale to plant the hands and step back to your high plank. Take an inhale in your high plank, option to drop the knees, lower all the way down to the floor, or lower down halfway in your Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here, and then we'll get into our first standing sequence. Final breath. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat. Walk or jump your feet to your hands. Inhaling for length. Exhaling to fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center and back down to mountain pose. So for this next sequence, if you're practicing in a smaller space like me, you're going to want to move more towards the middle of the mat so you have space both in front of you and in back of you. We're going to start off with a balancing pose, tree pose, and we'll start on the right side. So grounding down into all 4 corners of the left foot, really pressing that foot down, gentle bend in the knee. Start by taking the right heel to a kickstand, opening up that right hip. You can always stay here. You don't need to go any further. If you want, you can take the right foot to the left shin. And your final option is to take that right foot with the help of your hands all the way up to the left inner thigh. So wherever you choose to be, your right foot is pressing into your left leg, and your left leg is pressing back into your right foot. And that pressing is going to create this energy. You're lifting out of the hips and standing up nice and tall. Maybe you bring your hands to heart center. Maybe you grow your tree. You might play with your balance by closing one or both eyes. We're going to be here for 2 more breaths. Last breath here. But as we come out of this, we're going to try and stay nice and balanced. So bring your hands back to heart center. Take the right knee into the chest, close off the hip, and then hinge forward and send the right leg back for a warrior 3. So in this warrior 3, you're squeezing inner thighs together, engaging the core by pulling your belly button in and up. You can keep the hands at heart center. You can airplane the arms. Maybe you reach the arms out in front of you like you're holding a beach ball. That'll challenge your balance even more. Wherever you're comfortable, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, fold over the left leg for a standing split. Press into the left foot, reach the right leg up. And we're gonna find a little flow here. So on the inhale, you'll lift that right leg up, doesn't have to be super high. And on the exhale, you'll bend into both of the knees and touch the outer left shin with the right knee. Inhale, lift up, standing split. Exhale, bend both knees and tap the outside of that left leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap. For more of a challenge, you can take your hands out of this. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap. You should really feel your left glute lighting up. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap and hold. Keep that right knee outside of the left leg. And from here, we're gonna keep our legs just as they are and come down to a seat. So in your seated position, both legs are still bent. The left foot is outside of the right thigh and the right foot is outside of the left hip. Setting up for a twist here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hug that left knee in. Left hand goes back. Look over the left shoulder and breathe. With every inhale, lengthening the spine. And with every exhale, twisting just a little bit deeper. If this isn't comfortable in the neck, you can keep your gaze neutral just over that left knee. One more breath here. And as you're ready, rotate the torso back to center. Keep your legs as they are. This is going to be our big mobility challenge. So I'll do it first and then you can try it. You're going to want to press into the left leg. Reach the arms out in front of you. We're doing this without our arms. And you're just going to press into the left leg and lift the right knee into the chest. It'll be wobbly. So try that now. Try and keep your balance. And then bring your hands to heart center. Cross the right foot over the left knee or thigh and sink into your chair pose. So big balance challenge here. If you need to take a pause and place 2 feet on the ground before you move into this figure 4, that's totally fine. Feel this nice, good opening in the right hip. Staying here for 3, for 2, on 1, press into the left foot, lift the right leg up, and then let it go, shake it out before the other side. Feeling nice and strong in the left leg right now. We're gonna even that out and take everything on the opposite side. So, staying in the middle of the mat or at the top of the mat, depending on your space situation. Ground down into all 4 corners of the right foot and going for tree pose. So come to your kickstand, maybe in, maybe you come to the inner thigh. This side might be different than the other side, and that's okay. Wherever you are, just focus on pressing the left foot into the right leg and the right leg back into the left foot. Hands can come to prayer. Hands can come up, growing your tree. Again, if you want even more of a balance challenge, you can close one or both eyes. Just take 3 breaths here. 2 more. Last breath here. You know that we're staying in this balance. Bring your hands through heart center. Lift the left knee into the chest. Take a nice deep inhale. And on your exhale, send the left leg back and hinge forward, finding your warrior 3. Squeezing inner thighs together, pulling belly button in and up, wobbling side to side if you're like me. And again, you can keep your hands at heart center, take them behind you, or out in front of you, whatever. Ooh, losing my balance today, that's okay. Whatever's most comfortable. We're holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On one, fold over the right leg, fingertips down, standing split. And again, we're going to find that flow. So on the inhale, you'll lift the left leg just another inch or 2. And on the exhale, you'll bend into both knees and tap the left knee to the outside of the right leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend and tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend and tap. Again, you can take the hands out of it if you want. This is definitely my weaker side. You can keep the hands on the ground, whatever works. We're going to take 2 more rounds. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend and tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend and tap and hold. Feeling that fire in the right glute, keep the legs as they are and come to your seat. This time the right, it's hard to do feet and rights and lefts when your legs are crossed like this. Your right foot, oh my God, is going to be outside of your left leg, and your left foot is going to be outside of your right hip. Take an inhale, lift up, and on your exhale, twist to the right. Gazing past that right shoulder or keeping your gaze neutral, whatever feels better. Feeling the spine lengthen with every inhale. And twisting a little bit deeper with every exhale. One more breath here. And then making your way back to center, same mobility challenge as the other side. So bring the arms out in front of you, really press into that right foot, that's your foundation. And we're gonna come all the way up, woo, wobbly, with the left knee into the chest. And then when you're ready, hands to heart center, cross that left foot over the right knee or thigh and sink into your figure 4 chair pose. Definitely a balance challenge, but also a nice deep opening for that left hip. Take 2 breaths wherever you are. And then when you're ready, press down into the right foot, lift the left knee one more time, and then step down and shake it out. If you move to the middle of the mat, take it back to the top of the mat, and we'll rinse that out with a vinyasa. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands high to low plank, or drop the knees, or go right back to downward facing dog. And from your downward facing dog, let's bring the big toes to touch. Keep a gap in the in the heels. And we're gonna start on the right side here. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Doesn't have to be high, just about to hip height. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right knee to nose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right knee to left elbow, little twist. Inhale, lift. Exhale, step the right foot in between the hands and come up into your crescent lunge. Taking just a few breaths here. Coming back to nice, steady, and even breaths after that core work. Relaxing the shoulders. One more full breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then take one inhale. And on your exhale, plant the left hand, reach the right fingertips up to the sky, and we're in our twist. Pulling the right hip back, the left hip forward, squeezing inner thighs together. Staying here for one more breath. And we're about to move into side plank, so you've got options here. We're all gonna roll onto the pinky edge side of the left foot. You can stack the right foot on top of the left. You can stagger the feet, or you can drop the left knee altogether and press into the pinky edge side of the right foot and come into this variation of side plank. So wherever you are, find your nice strong side plank, pressing down into the left hand, and then take that right arm under the left side body and lift it up. Working the obliques, keep moving just like this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then from here, lift that right leg. Maybe you grab the ankle and step the right foot forward, coming into a warrior two. Tricky transition. So make your way there however you'd like. And again, just settle in. Relax the shoulders. Gaze over the right middle finger. And then from here, if you have your block, go ahead and grab it. I'm gonna say for these poses, we want the block at the highest height because we're really going for length here. So we're moving into a triangle pose. If you have the block, great. If you don't, no big deal. So straighten both legs and heel toe that left foot in just a couple inches. Hips are open towards the left side. Arms come back to a T. Right fingertips reach forward and the left hip moves back. When you cannot move that right hand forward anymore without going down, that's when you go down. The right hand either finds the top of the block or you can just bring the right palm to the inner shin. So wherever you are, we want to focus on nice length here. So as you bring the block down, you kind of start to get this crunching in the right side body. And if you have the space in your body, that's great. But I recommend staying a little bit higher than you normally would in triangle pose. So we just worked our obliques in that side plank. Now we really want to lengthen them and stretch them. We'll be here for 3, for 2, for 1 more breath. And then we're gonna take the hands to frame the right foot, step the left foot in just a couple inches and face it towards the left corner of the mat. You can leave the block where it is for now. We're just folding forward in our pyramid pose. So stretching the right hamstring, just like we did in the beginning of class. Maybe this time you find your chest a little bit closer to your thigh, your nose really reaching towards that shin. Maybe the knee has a little bit less of a bend in it, but still keep a micro bend wherever you are. 1 more nice deep breath. And then I'm going to take my left hand and move my block to the outside of the right foot. With my hand on the block, or if you don't have a block, just take your hand to your right leg, not so low, take it as high as you can. I'm gonna take my right hand to my right hip and pull that right hip back. Then I'm gonna take my right hand up to my right shoulder and pull that back, open up. Maybe eventually I reach the right fingertips up to the sky for this revolved pyramid pose. This is an intense one. You'll really feel this in your right IT band, the outside of the leg and the right hip. We're just here for 3, for 2. On 1, frame the right foot with the hands once more. Move that block over to the left side of the mat. Come back to your high plank. Vinyasa, again, you can drop the knees or skip it. We'll all meet back in down. Let's take a cleansing breath here before the other side. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Big toes come to touch, gap in the heels. Inhale, left leg lifts, not super high. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the left foot in between the hands and rise up for your crescent lunge. So this time you know where we're going. You're mentally prepared. So in each posture, just really focus on your breath. Focus on the present moment, not so much where we're going next. Relax the shoulders. One more full cycle of breath in and out. One more inhale. And on your exhale, drop the right hand inside of the left foot. Reach the left fingertips up to the sky. Again, from here, we're pulling that left hip back, the right hip forward, squeezing inner thighs together, gazing up at the left fingertips. Breathing. And then you know where we're headed, to side plank. So again, you're coming onto the pinky edge side of the right foot. You can either stack that left foot, you can stagger it, or you can drop the right knee and plant that left foot flat, reaching the left fingertips up to the sky. This is an especially great option if you have any wrist pain. So wherever you are, find your variation of side plank, find your breath, and then find that movement. Scoop the left arm under the right side body and lift. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, we make that tricky transition. Lift the left leg, maybe grab the ankle, and step it all the way to the top of the mat. That transition always makes me laugh. And then come to warrior 2. Doesn't have to be perfect, just a little challenge for our mobility. Gaze over the left middle finger and breathe. Last breath in your warrior 2 on this side. And then again, grab that block, take it at the highest height, or whatever height worked for you on the other side. This side might be different. To the inside of the left foot, straighten both legs, and heel toe the right foot just a little bit closer into the left. Arms come to a T, left fingertips forward, not down, forward. Right hip back. And when you can't move forward anymore, that's when you'll reach the left hand down and the right fingertips up to the sky. Not focusing on getting our hand down to the ground. Maybe it's just resting inside of the knee if you don't have a block. Finding nice length in the side body. One more full breath here. And then we'll close off those hips, bringing the hands to frame the left foot, stepping the right foot in a couple inches so it faces the top right corner of the mat, and just gently folding forward over the left leg. Just like the beginning of class, but maybe this time around you go a little bit deeper. And going deeper doesn't have to be anything physical. It doesn't have to be a straighter knee or a nose touching a shin. Maybe it's just a deeper connection to your breath in this hamstring stretch. One more breath. And then as you're ready, take that block, if you have it, in the right hand side of the left foot. Again, if you don't have a block, the hand will just come to about mid-lower left leg. If your hand is on the block or wherever your hand is, take your left hand to your hip, pull that left hip back, and then use your hand to pull that left shoulder back as well. I'm going to widen my base here on this side just a little bit. And then maybe eventually your left fingertips reach up to the sky. This is a really, really challenging pose. It's important to keep with your breath nice and steady. 2 more breaths here. Last big breath. And then fold over the left leg, plant the hands, step back. You can throw the block anywhere, Vinyasa or skip it. We will all meet back in downward facing dog. And from your downward facing dog, drop the knees and go ahead and find a puppy pose. So your knees will stay underneath your hips and your hands can walk forward. Eventually resting your chin, your forehead, or your chest down on the ground. Deep opening in the upper body. One more full breath here. And then very slowly walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. And go ahead and come onto your seat, taking the legs out in front of you. We're going to set up for a boat pose before we cool things. One more little bit of core work. So taking the hands behind the thighs, keeping the chest up nice and proud. Bring one foot up to tabletop and then the other. You'll rock back slightly, but the chest is still proud and you're still on your sits bones. You can stay here or bring your arms out in front of you. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. On one, lower, heels and shoulders hover off the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift up. 10, 9, 8. Lower. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift for your last round. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower and high. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Find a little mini Shavasana here. No worries, we're staying on our backs for the rest of class. Go ahead and press the feet down into the mat, far enough away from your butt that you can just lightly graze the heels with the fingertips. Feet are hips width distance apart. Setting up for reclined pigeon pose. Just like that figure 4 that we took in our chair pose earlier in class, this time without the balance challenge. So go ahead and cross that left foot on top of the right knee or thigh. You can stay here gently pressing the left knee out, or you can hug the right thigh into the chest, interlacing the hands either behind the thigh or on top of the shin for a little bit more intensity in your stretch. Wherever you are, breathe space hip. Imagine your breath moving into your body and down to your left hip, letting go of tension, of any tightness. Just be here and breathe. 2 more breaths. And then as you're ready, let that left leg cross all the way over the right. You're kind of creating an X with your legs. And then grab the left foot with the right hand, the right foot with the left hand, and pull the feet towards the side body. So stretch out your outer hips really nicely. The farther the feet are away from each other, the more of a stretch this will be. If you bring them in closer together, it won't be as intense of a stretch. So do what your body needs right now. The body doesn't always need intense stretches. We won't be in this pose quite as long. More breath. And then uncross the legs and bring the feet back down to the ground. Taking both of those poses on the other side, cross the right leg, right foot rather, on top of the left knee or thigh. And that right knee is going to gently press away from the body. You can stay here or you can hug the left knee into the chest, interlacing either behind the left thigh or on top of the left shin. Feeling this in your right hip, maybe even a little bit in your right inner thigh. This side is a little bit more intense for me, so I'm going to switch my interlace back to the left inner thigh, just a little bit gentler. Again, just be here and breathe. Couple more. Last breath. And then let that right leg cross all the way over the left, creating that diagonal cross. The left foot, this is a hand. The left hand comes to the right foot. The right hand comes to the left foot. And again, you're pulling those feet to the outer hips. They won't touch, so don't pull too hard. Just a nice gentle pull, stretching out the outer hips. Just take one more breath here. And as you unwind, this time keep the legs up in the air. Maybe take a final happy baby, bringing the knees in towards the armpits. Grab the inside edges of the feet with the hands. Movement or stillness, whatever feels good. Maybe you straighten through one leg and then the other. Stay here as long as you'd like. When you're ready, Shavasana is there for you. Taking the legs and the arms out long. Your palms can face up for acceptance or down for grounding. Before you really surrender here, just take a quick scan of the body. Notice all of the points on the back body that are making contact with the mat. And really just let them sink down. Let the body melt into the ground beneath you, knowing that you are supported in this state of rest. Allow the muscles to detach from the bones. And let that sense of detachment become you. There's nothing to do right now. Just be here. like to stay here longer and you have the time, please do. If you're ready to start your day or continue on with your day, start to find some movement in the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes, bringing nice deep breaths back into the body. Belly rises on the inhale and falls on the exhale. Roll up the wrists and the ankles. And shake your head side to side, yes and no. Find a full body stretch, reaching the fingertips long behind you. Pointing through the toes. And when you're ready, just roll onto either your left or your right side, bending the knees into the fetal position, using the left or the right bicep as a pillow. Just take one more breath here, and then keep the eyes closed or the gaze soft. Press into the hand to come up to a gentle seated position to close out class. Just a nice, easy seat at the top of the mat. Bring your hands to heart center. Thumbs press into the sternum. Take a deep exhale, let it go. Bring the thumbs to the third eye center. Deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Namaste. Thank you everyone for practicing with me. Again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below this video. Let me know how you liked it, what type of class you'd like to see next, and I hope to practice with you again soon.